Welcome to Tabletop Therapy. This is a chill duo long play D&D with me, Connor, and this guy, JD. And we are using 5th edition and the new player's handbook, some of the classes and stuff in there, and using some random generation tools to help us generate the worlds. Sort of no dedicated DM here. We're sort of co-DMing and co-playing. And JD, say something about what we're doing.
Something about what we're doing. We are going to use the robots that Connor has built to follow our whimsy and have a good time together. If you are one of our millions of dedicated viewers following along from the first episode, we spent our first time doing some world building with what the robots spat out for us to work with and got our player characters established. So Connor and I have spent a few minutes between then and now building some character backstory, and I think that's kind of where we're going to start with introducing the characters that we've co-created with our robot overlords, and then figuring out how to actually roleplay them into existence. Does that sound about right?
That does sound right. All right, so I guess I'll go first. So as you can see, I've got my my little guy over here. He is a Warforged. His name's Amrienor. I'm probably going to shorten that and how he actually, calls himself. I think just Am. That's not going to get confusing at all.
Hammy.
I am Am. All right. So he's a fighter. Champion is a subclass that we will get to. So we generated all these different values here, and he's going to become, part of his story is to become a valorous officer. His motivation is spoil intelligence. So I'm just going to start from how the story up until now for him. So he was created being a Warforged, but he doesn't know who created him. He sort of woke up into consciousness in the midst of doing monotonous tasks. For him, it was like the experience of waking up out of a dream, and the task he was doing was an odd one, not for the region that we're in, not for the Driftwood Heath, and definitely not for the city of Stormholt, which is ruled by a religion that worships what was the name? Dwimmerwaith, which is a great old one god that is sort of, it is said to dwell in the bottom of the sea, or is the sea, and it's not really clear, but it's a god of mystery and of brutality in some ways, but also of illusion. And so anyway, this the way that the religion expresses is one of the things that they do is human sacrifice. This is a piece of the rituals that are performed to appease the Great Old One and to also keep religious order in the city. And Amrienor he was sort of a cog at the very bottom of that religious machine. And as the rituals were carried out, as the sacrifices were made, eventually those corpses, as part of the ritual, made it all the way to him. And it was his job to bring them down into the depths of the sea. And being a Warforged, he didn't need to breathe. So it was a perfect job for him. He might have actually been created specifically to do this, though he's not clear on that. And he would basically just drag these bodies down to the bottom of the sea and tie them down so that they wouldn't float away. And that's sort of the final destination for these individuals being sacrificed in this way and being basically given over to Dwimmerwaith. So as he was doing this just day in, day out, maybe year in, year out, he doesn't know how old he is, he eventually, as if waking from a dream, began to realize what he was doing in a new way, and realizing that he didn't know if he wanted to keep doing it. And this is where his enterprising characteristic comes in. He realized that he wanted to do something different. He wanted to try something new to elevate himself, and he ended up being able to speak with, at this step in his work, one of the religious sort of overseers that was commanding him. And this was like a new experience for him, because he just began speaking in a way that wasn't just sort of like affirmative, like a mindless automaton like he had been before. He was now asking for something. He was wanting something different, and maybe a little bit out of shock, maybe just because he knew that he might be better used somewhere else. His overseer gave him an opportunity as a blacksmith, and this led to him, he's a very big and strong Warforged, and so he was very efficient, and he really enjoyed the new experience, the new opportunity. He remained very solitary in all this time. But then again, as he was building weapons and, handing them off to others, he got this sort of desire to, better his position again. And he spoke again to his overseer, and he was transferred over to, after training with some of these weapons, just because he was curious, he was transferred over to basically the guard of the city. So the religion itself is called the Veiled, or the people who follow it are called the Veiled, and that's sort of what it's referred to as well. And so the guard, being in service to the religious order, the Veiled, he was basically this whole time working for the religious machine, but now he's basically got transferred into and is a new recruit in the guard for Stormholt, this city, serving the Veiled. And that's sort of where the story takes him. He's just had sort of this new progression of experiences where he realizes he's kind of free, and even more so because when he became a guard, they treated him like the other guards. He wasn't an automaton anymore. He wasn't as much of a slave as he used to be. He now had some coin in his pocket, and he had some free time to go do something different. And so he would take walks and go look around, and he ended up finding in one of his travels a postcard shop. And this was something that was like, it created in him a new feeling that he had never felt before. When he looked at these images on paper, they were places he had never been, places he began to wonder about. And so this was like, for him, there's like this connection to these postcards, and like where they could be sent, and that they have images of places on them. And that just made him excited. And so he's got like this thing now where he wants to collect them as part of, his new life. And he's kind of like a kid in some ways, like a toddler, in that he's only really figuring out how the world works. So he's got these like little quirks where he's like attaching to these new experiences in fun little ways. But this kind of stoked, again, this enterprising nature in himself to sort of raise his station. And he realized that, he could buy these postcards with gold, but he didn't have as much gold as he realized that he wanted. And so now he's again in this state where he's looking for new opportunities. And that's sort of where we find Am, that he's connected to the guard, and he's now familiar with the city, and he's got this new freedom, and he's eager to continue on this trajectory where he gains more and more freedom. And he knows that from his experience now that comes with doing good work, making good coin. And so that's sort of where he finds himself. So, JD, any questions about Am at this point?
So how long has he been a guard? Like, he's still very early on in his career as a guard, right?
Yeah, that's right. he's done just like a few small tasks. Like he's kept the peace in a few different, like he's probably been a guard for now for a few weeks. And so he's mostly been doing patrols. There's a couple like altercations that he was helping to keep the peace on, but he hasn't really fought in earnest at this point. He does training in like with the other guards, and like he's pretty good, and people are a little afraid of him because of how strong he is. But he's also not very well refined at this point. But he has a few weapons that he carries with him as he walks the city streets. He's got a very large sword, and he's got a pike and a trident. So yeah, big strong weapons. And he likes all
big weapons.
Yeah, he likes all three. So so yeah, so now would be a good time for you to jump in and talk about your little frogman. And
so I just want to call out that what we're doing here, these characters didn't just come out of our brains. Connor's robot over here. What you can see like on the screen is that the robot is spitting out these like chunks of words, all this data, and Connor and I are sort of off the cuff and with some time in between sessions, taking it and weaving it into a character, and then hopefully a story that makes some sense and is interesting and compelling. So I really like the way that you incorporated the collects postcards bit of data that it spat out, because I was not sure how you were going to make that
yeah, that
work.
That was
but I like it.
One.
I like it as like a part of his sort of developing consciousness, and the way that he sort of realizes that there's this like wonderful world out there that he might get to discover as he grows up, this little robot boy becoming a robot man. Anyway, good job.
Thanks.
So mine is, if you want to like pull up the data points, my guy's name is Delandra. He is a Grung, which is a little frog man. The class is monk, and he's going to become a warrior of shadow monk. And the story that I've sort of crafted for him out of all this data. This society that Connor was talking about, this city, Stormholt, and this cult are all associated with the sea and sort of on the coast. Grungs being frog people, we're gonna, sort of move them out of the jungle and say that the Grungs around here are sea frogs, sea Grungs. And Delandra is born in sort of like a backwoods, little podunk frog town on sort of the edge of Stormholt's territory. And he is born, Grungs are like a pretty rigid caste system by the color of the frog. And he is born green, which is the lowest caste in frog society. So he grows up like no real family to speak of, no real resources. He's poor, like the poorest caste in a poor town out in the boonies. And he sort of resents this growing up and dreams of greatness, our little froggy friend. And for somebody in this position, greatness means going to work for the Veiled, because in the big city of Stormholt that rules the territory, the Veiled employ certain select Grungs to work for them as laborers, or the best as like guards or captains of guards. And the Veiled sort of chooses from the cream of the crop of its little tributary Grung towns. The town that Delandra is from, however, nobody's gotten chosen from this town in a long time, and certainly nobody from his caste. So he dreams of greatness. The only real path that he sees to greatness is to join the Veiled. And so he begins to train as a young tadpole, if you will, frogling, with the sort of local Red Grung, which is sort of like a scholar, mage, like witch doctor, I'm sort of imagining character. He kind of, he charms this old toad and apprentices himself, basically. So he begins to train his body and mind and hopes that his training will make him able to stand out, able to achieve something. But he still can't. He's still green, and no green Grung is getting chosen to work for the Veiled. So you are able to, in Grung society, according to D&D Beyond, change castes. It's very unusual, but it can happen. There's a ritual that's done. Certain potions are used in the ritual that allow the Grung to change colors and enter into the new caste visually. So he convinces his Red Grung mentor to sort of off the books, change his caste and do the ritual, give him the potion. And his Red Grung sort of, parent figure says yes, brews him the elixir, does the ritual in secret, and it works for the most part. Something goes wrong with the elixir. He is able to change color. He becomes orange, but the transformation process is painful and sort of traumatizing for him. He feels like he barely makes it out alive. And it leaves him orange, which is one of the highest castes in Grung society. It's the sort of elite warriors are the orange Grungs. But he glows faintly as the elixir wears off, and it sort of wears off, and now you can really only see the luminescence when he's dark, or sorry, not when he's dark, when it's dark, like very low level, like a old glow stick. So it's not obvious, but it would be telling that something about him is weird. So he is clothed. If you look at the photo, he's covered everywhere. He usually is hooded, though he's not in the photo on screen there. And he, wraps his arms and legs, which fits with his sort of martial arts training. He doesn't look unusual doing that, but it also serves to hide, in most circumstances, his faint glow. So he sets off, comes to the big city, and is skilled because of his years of training, and by his skill and his orangeness, he's able to convince the veiled recruiter there to admit him. So he's selected and joins the veiled as one of their Grung enforcers. We'll say he's a guard basically, that can be sent on tasks as well as patrolling. He's sort of on track to maybe become like an officer of the veiled if he does well. But he's new. He's sort of just gotten accepted. He's green. He's really eager to prove himself and achieve.
Well, he's
greatness.
He's not green, right?
He's not green. Yeah, but he's eager to prove himself and is sort of about to set off on his first job, is what he expects is going to happen next. He's sort of waiting for the call after getting settled in the barracks.
Great.
So that's where we find Delandra, or Del for short. I was talking to my friend about 20 minutes before this, and she said that a frog person should talk like somebody who has allergies for their whole life. So I'm going to try to like close my nose and talk like this when I'm talking in character, perhaps.
Are you really?
I'm thinking about it.
Okay. Well, if you do, more power to you. That sounds like it's going to be quite a ride. Okay, so we have our two characters. They ended up basically in pretty equivalent positions in some way, where they're now some sort of muscle for the Veiled. I have in my story, we've got this guard captain. Did you clarify like if you're reporting to someone specific, or do you want to just call it the same captain, but we just haven't crossed paths yet?
I think I'm probably like internal muscle, like a church guard, basically. And you're like external muscle, like city guard.
Yeah.
So we probably have different officers, but we probably work together often. It wouldn't be surprising if two green recruits ended up on the same job.
Got it. So in essence, what this means then is that there are two different like functions. There's the more like controlling order and peace in the city, sort of your standard city guard, but then there's like these special agents that work directly for the Veiled, and maybe a little more in the shadows, less about peacekeeping and more about like maybe keeping the religious order, and making sure that not just people are obeying the political laws around keeping the peace and theft and property and all that, but more about like, are people keeping the rituals? Are there other religions creeping in and giving people an idea of rebellion or something like that? Basically looking for heresies, maybe.
Yeah, I'm thinking like it could be like Inquisitor like that, or they're kind of like personal guards / like hitmen fixers for folks like Dimsal, like these sort of high-ranking people within the Veiled.
Got it. Okay, sounds good. Then basically we just need a job for us to cross paths, to have our meet cute. And so what do you think? Do you want to try and generate something? We could do this through a contact. Perhaps I meet somebody or you meet somebody. But I think that I probably would, having some free time and knowing I wanted to earn more coin, I might be just looking for like a job board or something. And I might just like ask other guards like, hey, if I wanted to earn some more coin, like where would I go? What would I do? So I wonder perhaps if the Veiled have a job that specifically they've assigned to you, but they've also posted for some just like standard guard muscle to accompany you. So maybe it's like your first mission, and but you're gonna have somebody with you to watch your back, and maybe it wasn't even about having a guard from the city do it, but they were just looking for an adventurer or somebody qualified.
Yeah. Okay, let's play it like this. Let's say that this is sort of like a test that's given to new recruits in Dell's position to sort of prove themselves, and so they're given a job, and they have to just go accomplish it, and they get sort of placed maybe based on how well it goes. And so I need extra muscle on this job, and maybe I go to the tavern or wherever robots hang out, looking for some muscle that I judge to be strong and fitting for what I need to accomplish.
Okay, so
we just need to generate some sort of task for this.
Okay. So basically you're looking for muscle to complete the job.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that, so let's try to figure out what that is. Bash recommended, and welcome Bash. Thanks for coming back.
Hi Bash. Plane hopping Mouseketeer sounds pretty great.
Maybe a guardian to a sacred pond. I like.
Okay, I have an idea. Oh, go ahead.
I love the idea of a sacred pond, so go for it, JD.
Yeah.
What do you got?
So I want to spin that. Great call, Dash. So let's say there's a sacred. It's the ocean, so we'll do like a tide pool or something, or cave or something along the coast near Stormholt, that has been like infested maybe with some monsters and needs to be, cleared out and sort of re-hallowed or something. Maybe I'm given some, I don't know, sacred salt or something to spread in the pool. Some little ritual needs to be done to cleanse it after the monsters are cleared out.
Okay, so maybe it's just like maybe there's a little shrine in there to Drimmerwaith, and the last time some of the folk in the city tried to make like a pilgrimage to it or whatever, they got chased off by whatever monsters have come into the cave. Okay.
Perfect.
So there is a shrine in the cave to Faith and... Okay. I think that's good. So now...
You want to generate a place name for this?
Yeah, sure. This would just be a site, specifically. Not all the details generated are going to be appropriate, but it's called Khazara. I'm going to just remove the little dash in there so it reads easier. I'm going to remove some of the details. We do have stinking, smelly, prehistoric.
Yeah. Keep ruined and up skyward and huge. I'm thinking that this is that in this cave, in this sacred pond, there's like an ancient, like ominous obelisk that just sort of like thrusts out of the pond and is, it's ruined, but yeah, has some sort of like ancient civilization. Like maybe it's like it looks almost bloodstained, like maybe some people got sacrificed on the top of this thing.
Yeah, I would even say like probably the way to cleanse it is actually to smear the blood of whatever creatures have defiled it on the obelisk. Okay.
Oh yeah. Just some regular frog stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we're playing in like Lovecraftian fantasy land, basically. Yeah. So obelisk, blood to purify, cleanse. Okay. And it's basically saying it says huge, so it's going to be a substantial. I'm not thinking huge like a massive like Wizard's Tower or anything, but it's like probably something that it's shocking that it's in there because of the size, and how did it even get in there is sort of the idea. And then the cave itself is going to be in plain sight, so it's not going to be hard for us to locate once we get down there. There is highland/hills. I think that can just be removed. I'm not sure that really makes sense here as a detail, but there we have it.
We could say that it's like a cave that's kind of like cut into a cliff on the coast, and maybe you have to like climb up a path to get to the cave mouth.
Too late, but we can still do that. Okay, so it's now in the index as place number 2. What do we want to call this quest? Purify Khazara?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Purify the pond.
Oh, yeah, because there's yeah, okay, so then I'm thinking that the obelisk must be like coming out of like a pool.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
You might have said that, but
I did. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm just an old man, so.
Yeah, your memory's going.
Okay, great. So purify the ponds at Khazara. And then, okay, so I think that's good. Thank you, Bash, for that little spark of inspiration. That was helpful. Okay, so I think the thing to do here is, as soon as we leave the city, we get into potentially dangerous territory. We're just going to be out in the region of the Driftwood Heath. And so there is a question here of, how far away is the sea and this cave from Stormholt proper? And we do have the heath as a vacant land, so it's not going to be that dangerous for us to travel through. But we do want to sort of clarify how far we think this is. I don't know that we've established this at all.
We haven't. I'm imagining, I think we talked about Stormholt being kind of inland a bit. So maybe it's, say it's like a full day's journey to the coast. And then maybe we've got to travel a little bit once we hit the coast to get to the entrance to Khazara.
Full day's journey to the coast.
And knowing that there are monsters in the cave, we might be expecting it to become more dangerous as we get closer to
Okay.
Khazara.
So before we go, you probably have some money on your character.
If I successfully, yeah, I have 11 gold in D&D Beyond, which was not an intentional decision. But yeah, presumably, I'm given an adequate amount to accomplish the task, to get some supplies, maybe hire some muscle if I need it. Not a lavish amount because it's a test, but
Right.
enough to pay a robot, say, and get some basic supplies.
Cool. I was just thinking that we may want to generate. I've got my little shop generator. We may want to see how much, if we can find like a potion shop. I might have enough for one. So I'm gonna just go ahead and generate one. There is a shop here called Arcane Curiosities that has a potion of healing. They're 50 gold, which means, do you have enough for that? I don't even have enough for that.
Yeah, no.
Okay. So then let's just skip that. We may very well die, but okay. That's that's part of the job.
I think we can probably, if you agree, I think it wouldn't be inappropriate for both of our characters to have a potion of healing or two, just because of our jobs that we've recently started.
Yeah, I mean,
it's sort of,
they're pricey, so I don't know, because at least for me, I'm a new guard. Maybe they outfit us with potions, maybe not. It just feels maybe a little too above our station at this point to just be handed one. At least mine. But I'm happy to have it be the case that, as part of the job, as part of your test, you were given a couple potions.
No, I think you're right, and I think perhaps it makes more sense actually that I wouldn't, as maybe part of the test.
Sure. And
I'm thinking it's sort of designed to maybe root out the weak.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, for a blood sacrifice cult, yeah, it does.
Yeah, I'm just realizing. Okay. Generally, constructs can't use healing potions, and I think that I just looked it up and it's fine for Warforged. But I was just wondering if we should put me on hard mode. But I'll happily be able to drink healing potions. Okay, so let's figure out. You're going someplace to find some muscle, and I'm going someplace looking for work. So the advice my captain would have given me is just go to any local inn. There's always job postings there, or people looking for somebody to help them with something. I'm sure you'll find some work. So I, walk through the city. It's after my shift and maybe later at night. So I'm imagining it being just after sunset. And so that being the case, I'm going to go ahead and update the time to, let's just do 10 hours.
Bash, yes, definitely. I'm going to have to do a big old froggy jump to smear some blood on this obelisk.
All right, so basically it's 6 p.m. The sun has just set, and this is when I walk into. We need some sort of name for this place. I got rid of my standard inn name generation, but I think Donjon has some of this. Let me see. Oh, they have magic shop. Let me see if they. I'm actually not sure.
How about the Midnight Moon? Oh, no. The Singing Siren. Sea themed.
Okay. Did you just make that up?
No, I asked AI to do it for me.
Oh, well, that's good enough. Okay, so this is another place. Singing Siren. This is, we'll just say This is a popular inn for adventurers. Okay, so I walk into the Singing Siren and I, walk up to the bar. I sit down. I don't really want to buy anything to drink, but I just start looking around at, people in the bar and trying to, now feeling a little overwhelmed because I've never done this before. I've only really talked to people in my line of work, so this is maybe the first time I've ever talked to anybody just to talk to somebody. So I am looking awkward as a giant robot can look, and perhaps the innkeep comes up to me, or the bartender, and asks me if I want a drink, and I say,
wait, I'm sorry, I'm gonna roleplay the barkeep. So an older experienced bar matron saunters up to you as you sit at the bar and sort of leans over and says, "Hey there, handsome, what can I get for you?" She winks a little.
I can't get anything, actually.
Ooh, the mysterious type.
No, I can be very transparent about this, actually. I cannot eat or drink, so I don't think there's anything on your menu that I should purchase.
She becomes immediately a lot less flirtatious, and looks confused and a little annoyed, and says, "Why are you here then?"
Well, actually, forgive me, I have never talked to anyone really before.
She's now just confused and less annoyed.
I need money and am looking for work, and...
All right. I don't need your whole life story. The adventurers, if you're not buying, just go sit at a booth and make room for paying customers.
Oh, thank you. And then he kind of backs away and walks over and goes and sits in a booth by himself. And, if he could blush, he probably would have.
All
right, the stage is set. Enter the frogman.
The saloon doors burst open. Just kidding. A bright orange frog walks into the Singing Siren. Delandra has arrived. He, frog hops up to the bar, sort of jumps up onto the stool because he's about 2.5 feet tall, and says, "Matron."
Is that all?
Well, he's called. I'm assuming.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna roll
Yeah.
now,
No,
okay?
I just didn't know if that was just the first word and you were gonna say more.
Yeah.
No, she comes up and she's like, "Well, hey there, cutie. What can I do for you?"
Have you seen any strong-looking adventurers this evening?
She kind of like gets this look on her face, like not sure if you're messing with her, because she just had this conversation with like this big, strong, robot-looking maybe adventurer. So she's like, "Well, kind of. That guy over there just, came in here, didn't buy anything, but was looking for work, and he's got weapons on him."
He kind of like breaks in overeager, like he's only half listening to what she's saying, and says, "You see, I'm a new enforcer for the Veiled. My name is Delandra. I'm here to prove myself and become something of a legend."
Okay, Mr. Legend. Are you gonna buy something?
Oh. What were you saying about that adventurer you had seen?
She just points and then like shakes her head and walks away. Doesn't even like say anything else.
Delandra, completely unfazed, hops off of the bar stool and froggles over to Amrienor.
Froggles?
Yeah, it's like a frog. It's the way that frogs walk.
Is that that's real?
Yeah, definitely.
That's a real thing?
That's absolutely.
Okay. I don't think I believe you, but okay. So you froggle your way over.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, me sitting in the booth and watching. Am would have seen, Grung before, but probably never an orange one. Given that he would carry a lot of sacrifices down to the water, but and maybe there are a few Grung on in the guard or something like that, but he's only ever seen green ones. He's never seen the higher caste Grung, and so he's curious. And after you have the conversation and start heading straight toward him, he like kind of straightens up and does some weird like nervous twitching, like he's trying to act natural as you approach.
Greetings. My name is Delandra. A pleasure to meet you.
Hello, I am Am.
He kind of stumbles for a second. He hadn't really thought through what he was going to say. Are you a strong adventurer looking for a challenge?
I may be looking for a challenge if it's a paying challenge.
Perfect. I am a new recruit for the Veiled, and I have been set a mission to prove myself to my superiors. I need some extra muscle to help me clear out a cave on the coast. You may have heard of it, Khazara.
Well, I don't know exactly what you mean by muscle, but I can fight and could likely help you.
Perfect. What's your fee?
To be honest, I've never taken a job like this before. The guard pays me... What the hell does the guard pay me? Give me just a second, because I would like this to be accurate.
How are you going to check this?
Secret ways, JD.
I'm gonna have to figure out how to talk in a nasally frog voice without plugging my nose every time.
Yeah, that's gonna get pretty wild. Okay, about 1 gold per day. So Am would probably kind of think about it for a moment, and he'd say, 5 gold pieces. Actually, wait. What are we doing?
Don't worry about it. 5 gold pieces is perfect. And he, throws a little pouch on the table.
All right, roll persuasion.
I just reached for non-existent physical. Wow. 17. What was your insight roll?
21.
Oh.
Yeah, I've got some good wisdom and insight. So, I kind of pause and I'm like, I'm sorry. I do think it matters what it is that we are doing because, see, I don't want to die and also want to make sure that the money is worth the time.
Dell says, "Oh, I wouldn't worry about dying. We're just gonna clear out a few pesky little monsters that have infested the cave. A big, strong guard like you should have no problem."
Go ahead and roll persuasion again. I really feel like he's gonna need.
It's a 13.
Okay. I'm rolling inside again. All right, you got me this time. So I say, okay, I think this is probably a good opportunity. I will join you. When do we go and where are we going?
What time is it?
6 p.m. It's just become dark.
Right. we will set out at first light to adventure and glory.
Great. What is glory?
He gets kind of flustered. See you in the morning, at dawn, at the gates. Farewell.
Wait.
And he froggles
which,
right out the door.
Which gates? I mean, maybe there's only one gate, but...
He's already froggled out.
Okay. I'll just go to the closest gates then in the morning. Okay, so that went well. Let me see. I don't think I would do anything else until morning. Is there... I'm assuming you're just like staying with the Veiled at this point.
Yeah, Delandra goes back to the barracks. He does some evening training and monkish meditation to prepare himself. He's very eager. He's also very nervous. He needs to, really prove that he is an orange Grung and live up to the identity that he has stolen.
Great. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and update time. By the way, we're in October.
Oh yeah, I see.
And let me see here.
It's gonna be pretty chilly.
Yeah.
Perfect for a little frog.
You know what? I think that something's wrong with this. I'll fix it later. But basically, we're at 6 a.m. at the gates, and so I would have gone back actually to I don't sleep, so I would have just basically sat there waiting through the whole night, and then when the morning came, I would have got up first thing. And I don't really have like rituals or like morning exercise. I would have just gotten up and walked straight out the door, straight to the gates, without any sort of flourish or ritual. And I would be there precisely at 6 a.m.
Right.
Are you on time as well?
Yeah, Del has been there since 5. He could barely sleep.
Okay, great. So we meet up at the gates, and he has his whole, all the same gear you saw him with yesterday, that he brought with him to the inn, his weapons, and he looks ready to go. And he says, "Lead the way, Delandra."
Delandra, sort of, bleary-eyed from his poor sleep, says, "What? Oh, yes, off we go to adventure." He's a little less convincing this time, and they set off, walking through the heath towards the coast.
Great. So you said it was a day, basically.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just going to come back here. So we've got basically every 2 hours, we're going to fill up or we're going to add to the time pool. And these are going to go to vacant. So in total, we're going to be passing... is it just like a full 24 hours, or are you thinking like until sundown is how long it would take to get there? Is that what you meant?
Yeah, it's like sun up to sundown march kind of gets us to the coast, and then we're going to have to walk most of the second day to get to the cave.
Okay, so it is actually full 4 time pool to get 24 hours. Okay, so I'm going to fill the full time pool here. This will get us through the first half of the first day. No issues, and I'll forward us.
Ooh. On my version of the tracker, we rolled a 1.
Yeah, that's because it will reset when I change something else. But when I initially let it go, it did not have anything. So that was the first 6 hours. Let me see here. I just want to make sure I have this. Oh, current place is... I think we need to add the region as one of the places, I'm realizing, as we just walk through it, because we're like between places. But that's not a big deal. So I think I'm just going to do the second roll then to get us to the end of the day.
Okay.
And nothing came up on mine, so no complications. 12 hours of travel. In all this time, just like marching together, I think that there might be some questions that Am would realize he had about Delandra. So I think we'll have, when we do travel like this, it might be good to just say like, hey, any role play make sense for this particular travel time? But as we're walking, Am would have said, so, where do you come from?
Del has been like preoccupied and very focused on something. He seems, sort of distracted in his head. He's feeling nervous, if Amrienor can perceive that. And at this question, he kind of jumps a little bit and says, "Oh, a Grung village, a little ways from here. You probably wouldn't have heard of it. Very, very prestigious."
You are Grung, then?
Yes.
Sorry, I am very new to the world, so I'm unclear sometimes what things mean or what they're called.
New to the world? What do you mean?
Yes, well, maybe that wasn't exactly right. I may have been around for a long time, but I only can remember maybe about 3 years' time. So in many ways, I feel very new to the world.
You're very big for a 3-year-old. Who made you? Sorry, is it like visually obvious that you are a construct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I look kind of like the image looks like. I've got.
Okay.
I didn't describe this appropriately, but he's got like he looks almost like a stone golem. The way that he's put together.
Okay.
Doesn't look as much like wood and metal like the traditional Warforged of Eberron. So, but very much like is like one of them in his, how he functions. So all of his outer armor and plates, they just look like stone. And his eyes they glow like a lavender, like a light lavender. And they're kind of like glow in the dark. So we both actually will glow a little bit in the dark. But yeah, it's very obvious that I'm a construct, that, I am not flesh and bone.
Okay, got it. Sorry. So Del has asked. He said,
Who made me?
You're very big for a 3-year-old. Who made you?
I do not know who made me. I became aware of myself 3 years ago and was already occupied with business of the Veiled. But I asked my supervisor at the time where I came from, and they had inherited me in this operation and didn't know where I had come from, that I had been doing what I was doing for many years under their supervision and under somebody else's supervision before that. So I do not know.
Delandra is like getting kind of like bored as the answer keeps going, but he kind of fixated on something at the beginning, and he kind of breaks in as Am keeps going. He says, "You worked for the Veiled too? Were you an enforcer like me?"
No, I started off in rituals, bringing the sacrificed bodies down to the deep, to where Drimmerwaith collects them. This is... Go ahead.
Do we have a name for this role? Did you create a name for like that task or that office, the one who takes the bodies to the deep?
Well, what generated for me was like what was it called? a grave digger, so like a deep taker or something like that, or a corpse diver, something like that is maybe what it would be called. But we can come up with a better name later. But in essence,
let's call it a deep walker.
Okay.
I feel like it's something that Del would like recognize, you know.
Sure.
So he seems very sort of like odd, and he's like, "You are a deep walker? You are a part of the most holy Dwemerwaith ceremonies?"
Yes.
"I'm honored." And he kind of looks at you with new eyes. You know, he seems to be suggesting that you must be extremely important. I'm honored to be working with you.
Oh, this is a surprise to me that this is considered a position of honor. I felt as if it were a low position from my understanding.
Low? What could be more important than participating in the sacrifices, than taking things to Dwemerwaith himself?
You may be right, for I am very new to all of this. Perhaps it was a very honorable thing.
Del kind of lets the conversation drop.
Okay. So
he looks at Amrienor with new eyes and feels very lucky to have found this particular robot.
Great. Am kind of thinks that maybe it would be better if he didn't speak much more. He's now realizing that he may not know very much, and to speak with somebody like Del, who knows so much about, the Veiled and everything. Am has this moment where he realizes that there's a lot of questions he didn't ask in those moments, and a lot of assumptions that he made, and sort of he spirals internally thinking about these things and wondering what they all mean in regard to his maker and his purpose. Cool. Anything else that Del might want to talk about on the walk?
I don't think so. He feels a lot of pressure right now. This is like, he made it through the first gate, like, turning orange and getting here and getting picked. And now he has to pass this test in order to, achieve his ambitions. So he also just starts spiraling internally, just kind of preoccupied with whatever is going to come ahead.
Great. Okay, so we've hit now sunset on the second day. We've made it to the coast. So you said probably another 12 hours basically of walking down the coast. So then we would probably need to... so we have basically another day of travel and trying to... but we'll still have, another, for our long rest, another couple time pools worth to get to morning. So let's go ahead and do until, so I'm going to update this again. It's not going to work exactly. Oh, it did work now. I wonder if the first one didn't take. So this would be, or no, maybe we are good. I'll have to check on this. But anyway, 6 p.m. on the second day is basically where we landed. And then let's do, I guess we would start our rest at 10. So I'll just do another 4 hours and I'll put that in the time pool. So I'll clear this. And so this is just as we settle in, no dangers came up. All right, so now it's basically long rest from 10 to 6. So another 8 hours. Or long rest, do we need 6 hours, or it is 8, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, okay, so let's just do 8, and then I'll do...
Del kind of sneaks off at the beginning of the long rest time to find some water soak himself in because he's a juicy little frog and he needs to not dry out.
Nice.
So at this point, we've sort of reached the coast, so he's just gonna kind of go over to the water, to the sea.
Okay. So
Give it a little soak.
great. So when you come back and like we're settling in, I think we probably just find a nice little spot. I guess one of us could roll survival to just see how well we can find a little nook. And what's your survival score?
It's +3, and Dell's probably gonna take the lead.
Sure.
Since he's the coastal frog and feels like he knows how to handle this.
Great, do it.
And he rolls 21.
Very nice.
He's right. He is the coastal frog.
So this will come into effect if we get an encounter or a danger overnight, that we have a very sort of protected little camp. It'll make it potentially more difficult for an enemy to get the jump on us or find us at all. So we're going to do the full 8 hours we'll do the first 4, but Am would basically communicate, he would say, I do not have to sleep. So if you require sleeping, I can keep a watch and ensure that we are safe.
Dell looks sort of like confused by the not having to sleep thing, but says, sure, thank you. And he, curls up into a little froggy bundle and starts to snore.
Great. And as the sun sets and it becomes darker and darker, it would be an odd little sight to see. I don't think we would have lit a fire or anything, but just in the dark, you would see every once in a while as Am turned his head to kind of like look about, these 2 pale little lavender lights that are his eyes just like appearing. And it would be kind of like spooky for anyone who was seeing it from a distance and it would not look natural at all. And the other thing I think that would be apparent unless you have fully covered yourself while you're sleeping is just a little orange glow next to it.
Yeah, I think he probably has put on a blanket so that his hands and feet aren't seen, and he has his hood up, but he probably rolls over at some point in the night and his orange glow would be noticeable.
And this is also something that Am would notice during that time as the night happens, that you are glowing, and that he would think maybe that's normal, but he's not sure. Okay, so I'm going to roll our time pool dice for the night. The first 4, nothing bad. Second 4, nothing bad. Okay, no dangers. We've gotten pretty lucky so far. Okay, so 6 a.m. So now we've got another march to the cave, a total of now another 12 hours. So we'll basically be arriving at the cave then at sunset again, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we'll probably have to camp out overnight before we go in.
Okay. So I'm going to do the first 6 now, and we'll see if we meet anything on the coast. Okay.
And I think maybe we need to up the danger as we get closer. I don't know if you already executed the roll.
We got something.
Hell yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and update time real quick. So basically we hit midday, 12 p.m. And well, actually it would have been a little earlier than that. Let's say like 10 a.m. And there's some sort of taint, blight, curse is what it's called. It looks like it's a trap, basically. So my guess is that this is a trap that was left by the monsters. And I'm thinking blight will probably, some sort of taint or blight, given that we had in the index when this place was generated, like the stinking, smelly aspect. Mm-hmm. It makes me think that whatever these creatures are, that they left some of that stinking, smelling mess for us. So some of how there's some different ways we can handle this. The detection, if you can see this, is at a DC 12 to see this trap before potentially falling into it. And then it is in fact a deadly trap. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. But when I was playing solo, I would just elect for one of my characters to be taking the lead, which it sounds like, based on what you said earlier, this would be you, that you would be sort of leading the charge here. So I would like for you to make a perception check as you're approaching the trap to see what happens.
Ooh, just a beautiful 7 on the dice.
Okay. You do not see it, and you're going to walk right into it. So it would have been visible, but you're just not paying attention.
This could straight kill me.
It could knock you out.
Yeah.
And if I don't have a way to stabilize you, then true. This could be your doom. So I'm imagining a pit, or something like that. Like they dug a hole, and maybe this is where some of the brushlands come up a little closer to the water and it juts out. And so you have to kind of cross over some of this to get to the next, to move up the coast in the way we need to. And as we step off the sand and into this brushland, there's a narrow pass that, they designed to be where the trap is. And it's kind of like covered and is a pit. And in the pit, they basically have filled it with this stinking, smelly mess. You don't have any benefits or advantage to like smelling or anything like that, do you?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay.
No.
Well, we're gonna have it be a pit. And given that it's a pit, there will be a save to fall in, but you do step right on top of it, and you feel like your foot about to give way, and you need to make a dexterity saving throw to see if you can cling to the side of the pit and not fall in to the vat of blight.
19.
Okay. The save would have been a 12, given that was the same as the detect disarm. So you are able to cling to the side and you do not fall in. And we both sort of look at it and look at each other like, what is this? It very obviously looks like a trap, but we're kind of like a little alarmed to have, or at least Am is a little like, he just asks you straight up, what is this? Are you okay?
And Del sort of froggy hops off the side out of the pit trap and says, "Be on the alert. The monsters must be near."
You think they created this?
Who else would have?
Perhaps. And what is down there? It just looks like it's a pit that's like full of like a weird murky liquid. It's unclear. And my character can't smell. So there is a smell for you. But I don't smell anything. So I'm like, what is down there?
Can I roll perception to see if I notice anything about the...
Yeah, I mean, you definitely smell it with your passive, but you can go ahead and give it a whiff and see if you can pick up anything else about it.
19?
Yeah, with a 19, you think that this is some bad juice down there. Like, that stuff would really mess you up. That's some straight up no-no juice down there.
Judging by the smell, I would say that it's some bad juice. We'll definitely need to be on the lookout for more no-no juice as we proceed.
Am sort of nods as if he should understand what bad juice and no juice mean, and just understands it must not be good.
Yeah, Del doesn't actually understand anything about it other than that it smells bad and seems dangerous, so he's kind of bluffing here as well.
Great. Okay, so we are able to sort of skirt the side of it without issue. It's now very obvious, and there's enough room on either side to kind of go around it and not fall in. And well done, we avoided potential death.
Thank God.
Isn't level 1 so fun? Okay. So we're going to do the next 6 hours now. This is the final stretch of walking.
Let's bump up the danger quite a bit. I think at least D6 normal.
Okay, so as we get closer here, you think it becomes a lot more precarious? Okay, we're pretty much gonna get a danger here on this next bit. We did not. Okay.
Their perimeter defenses are really spotty.
Okay, so we continue up the coast. The sun begins to set, and we come in sight of the cave. There's enough, perhaps, foliage around us to where we can approach and see the mouth of the cave without being out in the open. And so this is the part where it might actually be helpful for us to generate a dungeon, just to kind of set up an approach and some of the rooms that might be in this cave. So let me go ahead and generate this real quick.
We are going to, it's the end of the day now, and so Dell's going to need to rest before we try to enter. So Dell's going to look for, a little alcove or tiny cave or some place where they could tuck up for the night. You want me to roll survival to try to find that?
Yes.
19.
Okay, great. Let me just roll this dungeon real quick. I'm doing a aquatic motif. Dungeon size is just going to be probably tiny. We're going to do cavernous. Maybe we should do a bit bigger than tiny then.
It can be do one step up from tiny, and we'll say it's spacious but mostly vertically.
Okay.
Which fits with the up and skyward descriptors.
Okay, it's pretty small here. So I'm gonna go ahead and I think the best way to do this is just gonna be, we'll make it big. I guess I don't really need to put this into maps for us. Well, I probably should in case we get into combat.
We better freaking get into combat.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead.
This frog's thirsty for blood.
All right. Upload a map. And then we'll.
My map on my end is now showing that it says, "Please wait for your DM to start the game session." Do you need to click something on your end?
Yeah, I think it probably says that while I'm setting up this new map. I'm very much looking forward to when this is out of alpha and is a bit easier to navigate. It's not so bad. Okay, it's been uploaded. I'm going to add it to the list. I'm going to open it. Start session.
There we go.
Okay. And then you can go ahead and put your own character in there. I think the entrance here, and then I'm probably going to open this up on the bigger one once we get going in there. But so there is a question though. I guess I should look at what generated to understand what enemies we might be facing. So I'm gonna go ahead and go over to the map on the bigger screen.
We need some stinky monsters.
I think I'm in the wrong game. Okay, then I'm going to grab the map from this other tab and just bring it over. Okay, so what this reads is, okay, there are potentially wandering monsters in here. So as we travel through, though it's pretty small, oh, it doesn't actually look like there is any monsters in here standard. So the only type of thing that we would run into is something that's wandering. So what I'm probably going to say here is that the 1 and the 2 are going to be places where we do I think we should just do 2 encounters with wandering monsters, given that there's sort of 2 sections here and we know there are supposed to be monsters here. So you would like to actually do our long rest before heading in, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And
so
I've added a little obelisk here over in that final cave.
Okay. So this means that we may have them coming around after dark, and so we'll see if that happens.
Yeah, so we haven't actually entered the cave yet. We're
That's correct. Yep.
Camping. Yeah.
Still outside. Okay, so I'll take us to 10 p.m. So we'll do a 4-hour, and we're on D6s still here. Let's see what happens. Okay, no danger until resting time. Okay, now we'll do our same thing where I'm keeping watch and you're getting your little froggy nap. We'll do our first 4 hours of the night. Nothing.
We're getting crazy lucky on my version of the time pool. We've gotten many dangers.
Yep. It is very lucky. Okay, so and then we'll do the next 4 hours, and this will take us to the end of our long rest. So I will update the time and then roll the time pool. Okay, this one did give us something here, and it's interesting. Alligator. So there's 2 ways to do this. We can either take the generated danger, which what they have here generated for us is a dying alligator. And basically we can either skin this with the wandering monsters and use those stat blocks to talk about how this the challenge of this creature. But I actually like this idea that there's an alligator here, that this is a saltwater alligator. And as we're sort of staying put, that this thing comes alligating, to use your frogging thing from earlier. Froggle. Yeah, but it makes actually sense for an alligating because a gate is a walk, so it's perfect. So this alligator comes just walking past us, apparently dying, but it's in sort of this hostile and aggressive disposition. I'm going to find an alligator stat block real quick.
Or crocodile.
Would it be... oh, you're just saying that it could be either on the stat block?
Mm-hmm. I don't know what...
Yeah, crocodile came
D&D
up.
has. Okay, great.
This is probably going to be a great little challenge for us at this level anyway. Okay, so... I'm going to go actually into an encounter real quick and set this up. Well, actually, I'll just roll the dice to see if it detects us before I try to set this up as a combat. So it has +0 to wisdom. It has stealth. It has a 10 passive perception. So I think given our hiding spot... we would just each roll stealth, and I think I'm just going to set the alligator's DC at its passive perception, which is 10. It's not really looking for us, so as long as we are well hidden, it will not detect us. So let's both roll stealth. I'm in heavy armor, so but I actually think I'm not going to roll at disadvantage because I'm not moving. I'm just going to roll standard stealth.
Wow, terrible roll. 8.
Oh, we're going to get caught then.
Yep.
I got a 10, so I would have passed. But, okay, so the crocodile... Okay, this makes maybe some sense because I imagine crocodiles, like, probably eat grung every once in a while. And so it, like, picks up your scent and sort of in a stupor and a frenzy just starts alligating toward us. Okay, so let's get the map back up. I'm just going to have us play this in the cave map. Even though technically we're outside. So monsters.
You got it?
Yep. I think I added him, but I don't know where he went. Is this him? Wait, what was that over in the corner? Here, let me try again. Monsters. Croc. Oh, there we go. Oh, he's a big boy.
He is a big boy.
Okay, so going back, okay, it says in reach. So literally what that means is that it's 5 feet away from us. And I think what that means is 5 feet away from you. But based on the position we're in, it's going to be 5 feet away from both of us. So it just like comes right up to us. And now I'm actually going to create the crocodile encounter.
Band name, called it.
Wow, that's a good one. Okay. So we're going to do crocodile add. And then we're going to go save. I'm realizing I didn't have...
As you know, Delandra sees the crocodile, finally spots it as it gets too close. He, you know, sort of jumps up and shouts, "I'm not going down like Uncle Jimmy!" Because of course, yeah.
He lost Uncle Jimmy to a croc.
Yeah.
All right. You can go ahead and roll your initiative. I auto-rolled it for the croc. He got a 1, lucky for us.
Incredible. 18.
And I crit on mine.
Wow.
So there's that. Okay.
Amri's up first. Unless, are we getting surprised by this crap?
Good question. Perhaps.
Was it stealth?
No, it wasn't hunting us. It was
okay.
Like it's sort of a hostile, aggressive, dying. I think it's in its death throes. I think it probably had a run-in with the monsters. It might have done some damage to them, but it got hurt as well. And now it was just trying to get away and came upon us, and in its sort of death frenzy is attacking us. So I don't think it's getting the jump on us in that sense. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just being in reach. Probably the best thing for me to do is... What do I think here? I'm going to do... I'm going to just pop on my shield and take my trident out. And I'm going to try and hit it with my trident with one hand. And that's going to be a 21 to hit. I'm going to do the piercing damage with the trident, which is a 7, so a solid hit.
Nice.
It's bloodied already. And then I'm going to force it to make a save against being toppled, which it's con save. It fails, so it goes
You're gonna
prone.
flip this croc like a pancake.
Yeah, I think it works on anything large or smaller. Let me take.
So you kind of like spatula him with your trident, like. hop him over.
Yeah, I don't. Let's see here. Topple. Oh, it doesn't even call out the size of the creature. That's cool.
You're toppling him.
Yeah, so he is now. I'm gonna just put like a red ring around him. He's prone, and that's gonna be my turn. I don't think I'm gonna move or anything. So I would just be sitting there and waiting with my shield raised high, and Del is up next.
Del unsheathes his daggers, letting his froggy grung poison drip onto the blade, and jumps at the crocodile and yells, "This is for Uncle Jimmy!" and attacks. And he's prone now, right? So I'm rolling twice.
Yeah, you got advantage.
Great.
By the way, you can right click on the hit, and then you can click to roll advantage.
Nice. Okay, 16 to hit.
16 hits.
Beautiful. And that's 9 just from the dagger strike. And then the poison is an additional 3, so that's 12 total damage.
Doesn't it make a save for the poison?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Roll that con save.
And what's the DC? Oh, he crit.
12.
You don't get the poison damage, but
Whoa.
you had enough to kill him outright anyway with the stab, so you didn't need the poison. All right, so that was our first encounter. Went very smoothly. Nice initiative rolls there.
Did we level up yet?
I actually want to look and see what the experience is here, because this is our first experience earned. Congratulations.
Woo.
Yeah, it's 50 experience per player, so that gets us 1/6 of the way to our next level.
Heck yeah.
Nice. All right, so added 50 EXP. All right, so that's that. So going back to our camp, we kind of like look at each other after just like demolishing this croc, and you see me in action for the first time, just sort of like take out a giant like sea fork and just like flip this thing like a burger, and probably a little bit impressed to see me flip that large croc in just like a single hit. And then you go in like daggers blazing, just like finish him off, and we're both, I think he was like weakened a little bit, so he already had some wounding on him, but we're both sort of like looking at each other like, well done, little frog.
I think I picked the right robot.
You wouldn't call me a robot.
The right construct. The what do we call you? Deepwalker.
It would seem so. I have not been tested against such a foe, but it seems that I was adequate.
The real question is, what wounded it?
Probably the same thing that left the trap for us, if your theory was correct.
No juice.
No juice. Okay, so now I'm trying to remember. I think that was our second rest session, because I split it up into 2 4-hour chunks. Is that what you remember?
Yeah,
okay.
That's right.
Okay, so now we're sunrise. We killed the croc.
Do we have to roll the time pool again to try to complete the rest now, since we were interrupted, or no?
No. I rolled for the whole 4 hours. So whenever we do the chunks like this, I'm just gonna roll the time pool and clear it out in a 4-hour or 6-hour chunk, even though it's supposed to only be in 6-hour chunks.
Got it.
So long resting can be a little more precarious, since it's just gonna trigger 2 at the same time. But I may change that. But anyway, so we already cleared that out, and now the sun is up. We've got this giant crocodile corpse next to our camp. And I wonder if it would have dropped anything. I think I will roll loot for it.
Great.
So let me do this.
Uncle Jimmy's bones come out.
Oh no.
Mm.
Poor Uncle Jimmy.
Mm.
So CR 1/2. Individual treasure. Go ahead and roll me a d10 to see what we get.
You got it. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I haven't done this on D&D. We got a 2.
All right, that's going to be 19 SP. So 19 silver. I'm just going to... I put this in our party loot down here on... And we can split this stuff up later. But I'll just keep track of it down there.
Sounds good.
If you want, we could just pool our total gold. But I think like we should probably keep separate track both on our character sheets, and then like when we're doing quests or fighting monsters, we can pool it and then split it later. Just so it's easier than adding it to our individual every time we earn something.
Yep, that works.
Okay. We did it. Okay, so now the cave. It's just about 9 o'clock. Do you want to try and see about clearing the cave, or?
Yeah, I can go till 9:30.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so going now to the cave map. I'm gonna remove this crocodile because we're now in the cave. So I think the thing to do here is we had these wandering monsters. So I think we're just gonna, as we approach the number 1 in the cave, we're just going to roll a 1 through 6, and whatever it is, it's gonna be what's on this list.
Sounds good.
So it looks like 1 is... It reads that they're trying to lure us into an ambush. So that's going to be the toughest one. Why don't you roll me a d6 and we'll see what's up ahead. And then we'll see if we can get the jump on it. Okay.
3.
So this is just a Sahuagin. I don't know how to pronounce this.
Oh, are those fish guys?
Yeah, fishy man. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and create another new...
A frog's natural enemy.
Exactly. I think it's just one of them. So this is just a medium difficulty encounter.
Okay, there's got to be more than one.
Well, this is just the first one, and these are the wandering monsters. It didn't generate for us any... I mean, I can regenerate the dungeon, or just generate it until it generates us a room. But this is a medium difficulty encounter. And what we can also do is we can have a chance for it to retreat back to the number 2. And we may have to fight that at the same time if we can't shut down this creature. Like, for example, if we don't get the jump on it, I think there's a fair chance that it retreats back and gets its other buddy. So... Okay. So let's do that, and that will create some potential danger for us. So I think I'm not really going to be able to sneak up. So as we walk in, you can tell I make some noise as I move about, and I'm not going to have a great time trying to sneak up on whatever creature may be in here. So would you say anything to me?
Yeah, so as we go in, Delandra kind of harshly whispered. He goes, "Halt." Oh, Amrienor doesn't say anything.
He just like listens. He's very used to taking orders.
Delandra says, "You're a little too noisy, my friend. Let me scout ahead." And he, stealth. He kind of Naruto runs forward on his little froggy feet.
Okay.
Quietly, attempting to stealth ahead.
Okay. Go ahead and roll stealth.
13.
Great. We have this guy is adept at perception, and his passive perception would be 15 therefore, and so your stealth is actually not good enough. And as he
Naruto runs his little froggy feet are...
What was... Now I'm forgetting again what the name of it. He was frog.
Oh, he's not froggling. That's just normal frog walking. Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's say you get like 60 feet away. Let me find the ruler here. So you're like here. By the time he notices you, can you see on the map? Oh, maybe you can't.
I didn't see the ruler, but if you do the little highlight thing, the pointed ping.
Just like right here.
Perfect.
Okay. And I sort of would have just come up.
Right. I will say Delandra's really committed to the bit here. You know, he's like kind of like going from like corner to corner, like hugging the wall. You know, like he watched Spy Kids and is trying to be real stealthy. And he, at this point, you know, as he sees he's getting up to the neck of a larger cavern, he's gonna like froggy stick up on the wall here to try to be extra stealthy.
Okay. Well, you are detected, and you can tell that you're detected. Actually, let me see. Does this thing have... Oh, it does have dark vision. Do you have dark vision?
Nope.
Okay, so actually, we wouldn't have even seen this thing. So you would have been sneaking in, like, flop, 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 flop of your feet, and you may not even have realized at this point that we've been detected. But it's kind of weird that we're running like headlong into a dark cavern because these things don't need light. So would you have retconned anything about getting out a torch or anything like that?
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about that. So yes, Delandra would have gotten a torch.
Okay, so this also would have given you disadvantage basically on getting in here and not being detected anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it's going to roll a d4, and depending on the outcome, it's either going to rush headlong to attack you, which I'm a bit back. And let me see, it's got 120 feet. So it actually could see all the way to the mouth of the cave. So it watched us come in. And we would have been backlit anyway, so it would have been pretty obvious that that we were coming in. And it, seeing that it's outnumbered, that two of us walked in, and one of those individuals is like running straight toward it. I'm gonna say on a 1,
like a ninja.
On a 1, it panics and runs into the fray. But any other number, 2, 3, or 4, it's going to actually retreat back. And we don't know it exists yet. Okay, so it rolled a 4, and so we're actually not even going to encounter it right now. It's going to move back. Okay. So I'm going to move it back to where the 2 is. Now, so would you still be like Naruto running with your torch out?
No, actually. If it's dark and he's getting out a torch, he's not going to be Naruto running, and we're not going to. He wouldn't have gone ahead either.
Okay, sounds good. So go ahead. Let me think here. I mean, you would not have been able to see, so I'm gonna roll stealth on the fish creature to see if like there's a chance that we could detect it, like hear it move away.
Okay. My passive perception is 15.
Great. So it's just going to be a dex roll. So it gets a 12. So you actually hear something move up ahead. And I will let you, because you heard it passively, go ahead and make another perception check on top of that. And you might say like, wait and listen to me as well. Yeah. So I'm going to roll 2.
Halt.
Okay.
Listen.
You did better with a 21. So with a 21, you're pretty sure that it was just one creature, and that it backed into the cave. And so you can choose what to do with that information, what you will. I got a 16, and that in my mind is not enough for me to know. Like, I wouldn't have heard anything.
There's something fishy going on here. There's a creature ahead.
A creature? Oh, Very well done. So Am is going to take out shield and trident and, be at the ready. And I'm going to just stay within, torch range of you. It's really a problem, I think, that we don't have a good way to light this.
It's true.
I think we really do need to prioritize getting night vision goggles for me. And I mean, you're going to be able to see in the dark at 3rd level, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is going to be interesting until then. But I think that this cave would be completely dark, unfortunately. So I think we would just continue to progress in slowly. But you would probably also know that whatever is in here was able to see us before we could see it. And we may need to be careful or think of a tactic in approaching these monsters.
Delandra's really just going to say,
Weapons at the ready, Am.
Am would just nod and not say anything back. Okay, so because we're just kind of heading in to our death, I'm going to go ahead and have us roll for the second wandering monster. So you can go ahead and roll another d6 and we'll see what we get.
3 again.
Okay, so there's just one more in here then. So I'm going to edit this encounter. I'm going to bring it up to 2. This makes it deadly for us. But it does give us an experience bump. Okay. So I'm going to have them sitting in wait for us. Let me add another one in.
Hey, ugly.
Yeah, so I'm going to put them both back behind this corner right here. Did you add that black circle?
Yeah, that's the monolith.
Okay, I'm realizing that now. I was like, why is that there? I didn't put that there. Okay. Okay, so they're just sitting in wait for us. I'm going to have them both roll stealth. So 14 is the lowest. So what I will allow for us is, well, I mean, it doesn't really make sense that we'll be able to sneak up on them, but if we can roll a perception above 14, we'll kind of know where they're waiting for us and they won't surprise us. So as we're coming around here, I suppose we can get like...
Sorry. As we're traversing the cave here, perception wise, is Del seeing anything? Are there any goodies laying about?
No. It looks like there's like this is kind of just a monster den. There's just garbage mostly. And we can't see anything yet that looks valuable. This really is just like, I think, probably cleaned out every few months by the Veiled, and this is exactly the sort of thing that maybe happens every once in a while, where they need to send somebody like you to clean out the monsters, and then they'll actually send in just some workers to come in and clean up for future pilgrimages.
So as we walk through, Del sort of is noticing all the trash and is kind of outraged and says,
How dare they do this to...
oh crap, it's called.
Khazara, sacred to Dwimmerwaith.
Am just sort of grunts. Doesn't really have an opinion, but just is focused at the task. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll our perceptions, and if we can beat a 14, then we will not get a surprise round on us.
Del did not beat a 14.
Neither of us did. So they're going to get the jump on us, and we could die. Fun. Okay, so I'm probably...
Did you see that surprise doesn't work the same in 2024 rules?
Oh, tell me how it works.
So there's no surprise round anymore. When you are surprised, you roll initiative at disadvantage, and that's all it is now.
Oh, Well, that's not so bad.
Yeah, it's much less deadly.
Indeed. Okay, so then I think what we'll do is we'll get to, let me use the ruler here, about 30 feet. So you just get to the spot that's like one in front of where my character is right now. Like one below. Yeah, perfect. So this is exactly the point at which we would all roll initiative. So I'm going to go ahead and roll at disadvantage.
Oh, whoops. Let me re-roll that.
Okay, I got a 4. You got a 4?
I had a nat 20 and a 1. Those were my 2 rolls.
Nice. Okay, so they got 17. And here they come. So we're going to start the combat here. Oh god, these guys are actually pretty strong. I'm going to rename these. There's going to be an A and a B.
Okay.
Okay. So A is running up first. He gets up in your face. Actually, I need to look at their... Okay, they have a spear. They could do a ranged attack. I don't think that's what they're going to do. Oh, they're like shark creatures. That's interesting. They have a shark telepathy. Advantage on melee attack rolls against a creature that doesn't have all its hit points. So if we're bloodied, they will get advantage. Or if we have blood on us. So that's fun. Okay, so it's just got 2 attacks. It does a bite and a claw attack. Or spear. Okay, so it's going to do a bite and a claw. So first is a 20. That hits. All right, you take 5 damage. Yeah, this could be fun. Now it's going to do a claw attack. 20.
What the?
And that does 3 damage.
Oh my god.
How are you doing?
I got 2.
Okay. The other one runs in. I think it has to use its dash actually to get up to us. So it doesn't get an attack in, but it is sort of at the ready. I'm up next. Let's see here. I don't think I have anything to support you here. I'm going to be a lot tankier than you. I have 2-second wins. But I'm not going to be able to do anything for you to get you out of here. Oh, actually, that's not true. I might be able to like topple or push one of them. It's probably safer for me to... You think you'll try to run?
I will try to... Yeah, I mean...
Okay.
Connor, don't metagame this.
Well, I feel like in a deadly encounter at level 1, we should. So
yeah, I'm gonna try to disengage. I'm gonna try to unarmed strike them to get them poisoned, so that if I move out of range and they can attack, it'll be a disadvantage.
Okay, you're only gonna need to do that to one of them because I'm gonna push the other one. So I'm gonna come in here.
Oh, you should know that I can push as well on unarmed strike because of my Tavern Brawler feat.
Then you'll be able to get back, and I'll be able to tank these guys. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So I'm going to drop my trident, and I'm going to get out my pike, which means I think I also need to drop my shield. Yep, because it's a 2-handed. So I'm just going to go straight for like the... Oh, wait, with the pike? No, I will get up close because I want to be able to tank these guys and get opportunity attacks if I can. So I'm just going to do my pike attack here. Please hit. 14. Good. It hits. I'm going to hit A.
Okay.
That's going to be 6 damage to A. This is going to be a tough one. And I'm going to go ahead and push A back. How far can I push with this? 10 feet. So he's just going to go back 10 feet. And now I'm going to move through your space here and just get in between you and the creature and be ready, and you're up.
Okay. Welcome back, Bash, by the way. Your froggy friend here is on the verge of death. Dell is going to bonus action unarmed strike Sahagwin B. And that's going to be a 20 to hit.
That hits.
Give me a con save for the poison. For the poison fist.
14.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, so no poison on that first strike at least. Damage now, that's going to be 7.
Okay. Solid hit.
And he's going to do attack action hit, also unarmed this time. That's going to be a 23 to hit.
23 hits.
Give me another con save, please. Con save from Connor.
11. What's your DC?
That fails. It's a
All right.
12, baby. That is one poisoned little shark man.
All right, I'm putting a green border around him to indicate poison.
Perfect. And then it's 5 damage on that hit. And it's going to be a push hit. So Delandra does a swift jumping spin kick. And the second hit knocks him back.
Is it 10 feet or 5?
5.
Okay, 5 feet back. Good. Now you can move back if you need to.
Yeah. And Dell is going to move back.
See why I mentioned potions?
Yep.
I've done this once before. I know how level 1 goes.
All right.
And you were like,
turn.
just 1? We need to
I
fight
didn't
more than
realize
1.
these guys were so freaking tough.
Yeah, bro, we're level 1. Everything's gonna be the crocodile could have killed us. Okay.
Yeah.
So no, the letter A1 is gonna run back in. Now he's gonna try and fight me. My shield is away now, because I pulled out my pike. So I'm gonna go ahead and unequip it, and hopefully I don't die. He goes in for a bite. 9 against my 17 armor class misses. His claw comes in for a 10. He misses both strikes. B comes in with the same. He's going to do his bite.
He's rolling at disadvantage, remember?
Oh, that's right. He's poisoned. So his first one was 10, so he's going to miss anyway. And then his claw attack, I will actually roll at disadvantage now, and misses. All right, solid. No damage taken that round for us. I'm up, still with pike in hand. The B Shahugwin, I don't know how to pronounce this, Fishman, the B Fishman, Sharkman, he's bloodied. We can see that he's not doing well. I'm going to go after him now. So pike attack him. It's going to be 18 to hit. 12 damage.
Nice.
He goes down. All right.
How do you want to do it?
Oh, just like he's just skewered, man. He's like a fish stick.
There we go.
All right. Yeah, I just run.
I was setting you up for that.
I just run him through, and he just like sort of topples over the pike, and then I just like yank it back out and reposition, ready for A. Ready for the A fish. All right, Delandra's up.
All right, Delandra, looking bloodied. Let's say his blood is a little luminous as well.
Great.
He's got some glowy blood, kind of visible. He runs back up into range and throws a dagger at Sahagwin A.
Okay.
That is a 22 to hit, which I believe hits.
It does.
Give me a con save for the extra poison damage. Who knew frogs were so strong?
That's a 5. He fails.
Woo!
All right, give me that damage.
So the poison damage is 5.
Okay.
And the dagger hit damage is 6, so 11 total on that one.
He's bloodied. Looks bad.
Okay. Seeing that, Delandra is going to be perhaps a little bold and run up, do his bonus action unarmed strike.
Okay.
And that That's going to be a 17 to hit, which hits. Give you that DC save for the poisoned status. I'm sorry, that con
9
save.
fails.
That fails. So he is poisoned, and boom, push. He just like this is Sparta, kicks him.
And then how much damage does he take?
Oh, that's important, isn't it? 6.
He's dead.
Wow, it was a really good "This is Sparta" kick.
Just to death. All right. Nice. We did it. I'm so glad you did not die.
Me too.
And I successfully tanked, so that's great. I think this is probably our strategy going forward, is probably let me stay in front.
Yep.
And you can throw daggers from behind if you need to.
Delandra actually says that. He's kind of like heaving here. He's like, next time, you'll go in first.
I agree. Okay, so I'm going to go back up to this and get the experience. This was a deadly encounter, so we'll get a little bonus. 100.
Give me that level up, baby.
No, we're not there yet. So this is going to be 100 for each of us. We're halfway to level 2. This guy. My goodness. Okay. But part of the rules are completing quests can grant experience.
Right.
So I think what ends up happening is we do end up leveling up at the end of this session because we're about to complete the quest. So I look over to you and say, good work again. I think we make a good team. Now let's finish why we came here.
Delandra nods, in a yes. In a brotherly way, but he's kind of barely conscious, so he doesn't really say anything. He's just still kind of panting.
Yeah, I thought I might have had like a medicine kit, but I don't think I actually do. I don't think there's anything I can do for you.
That's okay. So Del stumbles forward. Did they drop any sweet loot?
Oh, they definitely should. So you rolled a 3 twice, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the way it reads, doesn't actually have loot for wandering monsters. So I'm going to go ahead and just roll this on this generator. So roll me a d10 to figure out how much monies we get.
1.
And then I'm just going to generate a new table for us. And I'm just going to take 1 twice. So it's 44 copper pieces. So they did not have much. I'm going to throw
They were fish.
Yeah. Throw the 44 copper pieces in there. And I think that this is calculating incorrectly because now it's saying that we have 2.34 gold. So I will have to fix.
How many copper to a gold?
100.
Oh, okay. So it's reading it like it's silver.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. No, that's right.
Oh, yeah, plus the 19 silver. Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
I can't count. Good thing I have the sheet.
All good.
Okay.
Any other loot?
Nope, that's it. That's all the treasure we have here. Well, actually, what I'll probably do is when we get to the end, I might roll I'm going to do a treasure hoard at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, there's individual treasure with items. Okay, good to know.
In the dungeon?
On my tables here. Not in the dungeon. The dungeon, all it says is the floor is covered with broken glass. So there's nothing in the actual dungeon we generated that's good for us. Yeah. So I'm just generating it on the side because we had to just fight the wandering monsters. Okay. So now we're going to move basically into the final room here. And I think it's kind of up to you at this point to perform the cleansing ritual. So I will leave it to you to narrate this.
So as Delandra stumbles past the dead fishy boys, he bends down and takes his dagger and cuts off a finger. They have hands. Is he cutting off a finger or
Yeah.
fin? They must have hands. Yeah. They clawed. So he cuts off a fishy finger and stumbles into the monolith room. As the party enters the room, they see a still pool taking up the vast majority of the room. It's almost like in the 6th Harry Potter, that like cave that's like a big lake. So this sort of subterranean grotto, too small to be a lake, too big to be a pond. And he, let's see, it's about 15 feet across. There's a little outcropping in the center, out of which this gigantic black monolith arises. It doesn't look like it was worked. It looks almost like it just shot out of the earth, like some sort of great black tooth. And it looks old and frickin' creepy. And there's a sort of just dark presence in the room. It's ominous and uncomfortable. And Delandra looks a little unnerved, but he kind of steadies himself, and he takes a deep breath, loosens up, cracks his neck, and then gets a little running start, and he froggy long jumps, because he can long jump 25 feet, so he can easily jump over here to the little outcropping that the obelisk is on. And once there, he speaks a few sacred, deep words that were taught to him by his captain. He doesn't know what they mean. His superior just told him how to perform the ritual, gave him a little set of words to say, and told him he needed to smear the blood of the defiling creatures onto the obelisk. So he says something. Am can't hear it. It sounds like just sort of a weird eldritch mumble.
Wait, I want to try to hear it. Let me roll perception. No, I don't hear it. Keep going.
Okay. And Del jumps up into the air and smears, kind of like grates the finger down the edge of the obelisk on his way down. And it's just a bloody, pulpy mess by the end. The ground underneath the obelisk seems to tremor slightly, and the presence changes in the room a little bit. It feels less threatening than it did when we entered, and Del kind of takes a deep sigh of relief, and then Froggy jumps back across to the shore and says, "Well, thank Dwemer that's over. Let's go home. I'm going to join the Veiled Guard."
Well done, Del. That was it? We're done?
I sure hope so. I'm barely standing.
Yeah. Are you gonna be okay to travel back?
Let's take a rest in here for the night. I think I'll be fine in the morning. A good long rest.
All right. Sounds good to me. So I think given that the monsters are done, well, we entered in the morning, so we just going to sleep the day away then?
Yeah, I think so. Del he's gonna kind of collapse once they, settle on the spot in the cave there.
Okay. I'm gonna take us back to D10s on the time pool for this. I think what I'm gonna do is when we long rest, instead of doing like 2 4-hour chunks, I'm just gonna say that an 8-hour span of rest is only 6 slots, so it's just 1 full time pool. So we're gonna update the time. This rest is gonna take us up to about midday, 2 p.m. and No enemies, no danger. So
All right.
lucky us.
Do we find anything in the fish's hoard back
Yes,
here in the cave?
we definitely do. I'm setting the challenge rating to just what those creatures were, the 1/2.
Great.
Actually, let me see here. Oh yeah, it doesn't like add the CR together or anything like that. Unless maybe it would. If we fought 2 CR halves, I think maybe the total encounter would be a CR1 for the horde of treasure. So that's just what I'm going to set it at. And then treasure hoard. And then oh shit, that's a lot. So 2400. Well, here I can just copy and paste this into encounter loot, and it should automatically give us 244 gold is what it was.
Nice.
So that's nuts.
Del has never seen this much gold in his life, like not even close. But he conceals this fact and says, "Oh, well, that will last a day or two."
And I have sort of a similar reaction where I'm like, this will afford me many nice postcards.
Have we long rested yet?
Yes.
Okay. Del looks up and says, "What are you talking about?"
I discovered in Stormholt, they have stores where you can buy little pieces of paper with pictures on them. And some of these pictures are of places that must be far off and are wonderful. Have you ever seen a postcard?
Yeah, no, I know what a postcard is, but why would you spend 100 gold on that many postcards?
Oh, well, perhaps not all of the gold will be used on postcards, but there are several that I am thinking about now that I will definitely be purchasing.
Who are you gonna mail them to?
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
They're postcards. That's what they're for. You mail them to people, like your friends or family.
I would want them for me, and I also don't have any friends or family to mail them to.
Oh. Sorry.
Would you like me to mail you one?
Del is sort of like off put, but also like he really likes it. He's never had a friend either. And so he says, "Well, that would be okay, I suppose. Sure, yeah."
Great. I will find one that reminds me of you.
Del's like really he doesn't know what's happening anymore. This is causing feelings in him. He doesn't understand. That sounds very nice. Thank you.
Meta, I feel like these guys are like relational toddlers. Like talking on the playground. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
it's beautiful. So much growth to have in front of them. Okay. So that was a lovely conversation. Lots of gold here. Very good.
So it was just a pile of gold, nothing else.
Yeah, correct. There's no items in there.
All right, let's buy some healing potions to start.
Yeah, let me see here. Yeah, sometimes it can generate like gems, potions, even at this level, scrolls,
Legendary swords.
potion of fire giant strength, potion of invulnerability. Treasure hoards are nuts, dude.
At this level, that's crazy.
Yeah, CR1. I think that probably what we'll do for treasure hoards is only reserve them for like the final room in like a quest progression. Otherwise, it's going to be way too broken. Okay, cool. Well, I think that was a satisfactory first quest. We still need to get back home. So we can do that travel now, or we can do it when we get back. Or sorry, when we play again. Do you have a preference on that? It could take us another 15-20 minutes if we run into a couple encounters.
Yeah. Let's close out here just in case we end up running into a lot of trouble on the way back, and it takes a while.
Okay. And then
now, has the quest just completed? Like, are we getting a little chunk of XP here, meta?
Yeah, I mean, if we were playing an MMO, we'd have to go back to the quest giver. But I feel like we've done the thing that was the challenge, and it's been overcome, and we don't need to return to receive that experience. So I'm going to go ahead and give us 150 XP for completing the quest. And when we play next time, we will be level 2.
Beautiful. All right.
And that,
wow, way to end on a high note.
Yeah, that'll be a relief to have a little more HP and all that.
Connor, I'm feeling tabletop therapized. How about you?
100%. I'm gonna stop going to my normal therapy now because I have this.
That's the goal for us and all our viewers. Stop going to therapy. Just watch us.
All right.
Just kidding. We do not endorse this message.
No, not unless you happen to be a Warforged or a Frogman.
Yep.
Then there are exceptions. Okay. Well, I mean, that's it. Thanks for those that tuned in. Nobody's watching right now, but thank you, Bash, for stopping in and chatting with us if you ever watch this back. And looking forward to another one. Thanks, JD, for going on an adventure with me and being my Warforged little frog friend.
Anytime, Connor. Anytime. Froggle out.
I still think the alligator was a good one.
That was good. No, yeah, it was a solid one.
Thanks. All right. On that note, goodbye
Good
until
night,
next
everybody.
time.